Hello there, and welcome back to Remaining Calm through October. Our 31 days of calming tips to help you stay calm, right? Focused, feeling in control as you go through the month. And if you feel out of control, that's okay too. Just bring yourself back to these practices and notice how quickly they can kick in for you in helping you feel good in your skin, right? It's okay to feel triggered. It's okay to feel upset. It's okay to recognize that you might be feeling angry or some other emotions or afraid that are coming up for you this month. All of those are okay. And today we're talking about muscle relaxation. Now, I'm not talking about going for a massage, although yes, that sounds wonderful. Or reflexology or a pedicure where they give you a great calf massage. I'm not talking about any of those things. As fabulous as they all are, what I'm sharing with you today is a quick and easy way for you to tap into how stress is feeling in your body, how trauma might be feeling in your body, and how your muscles might be tense because of that. Because what you may not know, and there's a couple of books around this, the body keeps the score. What do I mean by that? And this is important, by the way, especially if we want to help lower our risk of getting sick again after breast cancer, because holding on to toxic emotions, holding on to stress, holding on to trauma and things that we haven't yet learned how to process can be all part of what's known as the cancer personality trait. That's a study done by Dr. W. Douglas Brodie. If you want information on that, please reach out. I have a lot of it. But this is why this is so important, right? And again, if you went through a stressful or traumatic event prior to breast cancer, you'll recognize that this is something that is important to you. It's something that deserves your attention. So what do I mean by the body keeps the score? Well, you may have noticed that when you're dealing with chronic stress, the stress that goes on for a long period of time, or layers of traumatic events that just keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting, it can often lead to, and the first place that I know I feel it is my neck and shoulders, right? And you may have woken up and you're like, oh, my neck's really tight today. You may have stomach issues, right? Another big one for how the body keeps the score. But stress and trauma that is stored in our body can also lead to pain throughout the body. It can lead to muscle or joint pain. And it can also lead to inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of all serious disease, including breast cancer. And so everything that I talk about, everything that I do in my coaching practice is to help you lower inflammation in your body. And it's not just about what we eat or how we move our body. It's about our thoughts. It's about our actions. It's about how we feel about ourselves. And most importantly, and I don't want to say most importantly, but up there with all the other things, is how you're managing stress. And so this tip today is going to help very quickly you identify where you might be holding on to that stress in your body. And again, I'm going to ask you to not judge, but just observe. This is a great curiosity adventure. And that's how I look at it. I tend to go, okay, let's go today. Where am I feeling tightness today? And how do I get to let go of that? I mean, it's a completely different conversation than, oh, my back hurts. Come on, stupid body. When are you going to feel better? Can you see the difference in how I speak to myself? We're going to talk about that more in this series. But part of what I do in Thrivership School is help you develop that kinder, more compassionate voice to yourself, the voice that you'd use with your best friend, right? And you deserve it too. So let's talk about stress and muscle tension, right? Muscle tension it's almost like it's a reflex reaction to stress, right? It's the body's way of guarding against an injury. You probably recognize it. It guards it against injury and pain, right? Because our body naturally doesn't want to be injured or in pain. And you might notice it. And I think for me, and it might just be because I deal with PTSD from a car accident, but I think it's the same for most of us. If you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off, do you feel tense immediately? I know for me, I jump. My hands go gripping the wheel. I feel tightness in my neck and my chest and my shoulders. My stomach may even turn. But for me, my whole body might tense up in that instance. That is a fight or flight response, right? That's our body wanting to keep us safe. Danger, react, danger, react. And so our body automatically does this. But the part that isn't so automatic for so many of us in life, especially if we've been living in constant fight or flight mode, which many of us have, then our body doesn't automatically release the tension when the stress passes. Sometimes because we've never learned how. Sometimes it's because there might be a deep belief that we're not safe yet. And when we have chronic stress, you know, the layers of stress that just keep going and going and going, it causes these muscles in our body to be more or less in that constant state, I said, of guardedness, right? It's trying to protect ourselves in that constant state of fight or flight, constant state of survival mode. That is a state. It can also be known as a dysregulated nervous system, because that's ultimately what ends up happening. But it's a state that many of us have just accepted as normal. I don't know about you. And I spent, trust me, decades in that state. Decades. But I've learned to not live there anymore. And I can tell you, I prefer this so much better, as does my body, as does my mind, as does my gut health, as does my joint health. And I truly actually attribute this way of living, this calmer way of being, to why my side effects from letrozole, which I've now been on for 5 years, that we're exploring with the breast cancer index, whether I need to go for the additional 5 years. But my side effects have been minimal from being on that medication. It's an estrogen blocking medication that I know so many struggle with and have nasty, nasty side effects. And I attribute this to my ability to not live in this constant state of stress anymore. Because remember, that constant state of stress means constant state of inflammation. Inflammation affects everything. Muscle and joint pain, hot flashes, mood swings, ability to sleep, gut issues, skin issues. It affects every function in our body. So ask yourself, do you want to live in that state where your muscles are just squeezed out? Or do you want to let it go? You get to choose. Right? You may not know all of the how yet, and it is a practice. And please remember that these are practices. It's not a one and done. It took me a while to learn how to really do this. And it's not to say that, like I said, if I get cut off, my body will still tense up. If I'm watching a car accident on TV, the sound of the breaking glass, which is the trigger for my PTSD from a car accident 10 years ago, I will still, if I don't know that that car accident is going, I will still experience that trauma response in my body through breath work, through what I'm about to share with you with these muscle relaxation techniques. I can get myself out of it. So it's not to say that we stop that automatic reaction. We do need it. It's our body's automatic response. But it's how long are you going to choose to be there? Right? And so start trying this exercise on the size. See how it works for you. This is something that I actually like to do first thing in the morning before I even get out of bed. And again, it's like that body scan, that curiosity check. Body, how are you doing this morning? How are we feeling? Okay, so looking at it that way versus noticing aches and pains and beating ourselves up for it changes immediately the feeling about it. Because what do you think happens when you beat yourself up for feeling bad? Feels worse. Feels worse. Versus, okay, let's see what I can do about that to help you. A whole different feeling around that, right? A whole different feeling around that. And it's something that anybody can do. I promise. You may not be able to do it at a click of your fingertips. Like I said, it takes practice. But if this is something that is important to you, then I invite you to keep listening to this episode and keep trying this on for size. Okay. So what is this muscle relaxation that you speak of, Karen? It's simple. If you don't know that about me by now, I love simple. I really do. Because I don't think if things are complicated or time consuming or difficult, I just don't think that we do them. Right? So I like to keep things simple. So I'm going to invite you the first time that you do this to lie down somewhere, get comfortable on your bed. Like I said, I do this in bed before I even get out of bed in the morning. But you can do it any time of day. Sit in a chair, lie down, but get comfortable somewhere. So if you need to pause this episode while you do that, please go ahead and do so. And then when you're ready, come back. And we start very easily, very, very, very easily. And I invite you to tense every muscle in your body. Squeeze your fists, clench your jaw, curl your toes, squeeze your butt, clench every muscle in your body, and then let it go. Let it go some more. Let it go some more. And let it go some more. I give you permission. You're allowed to let go. You're allowed to let go. And then start at your feet. And we're going to progressively work our way up to your head. But starting at your feet, clench your feet, curl your toes, and let go. And let go. And let go. Feel your feet just letting going down into the earth if you're sitting. Just relaxing and falling to the side if you're on your bed. Just let them go. This is also the point where I like to invite in a little bit of gratitude. Thank you, feet, for taking me through my day, for walking all of those steps, for doing everything you do for me. Thank you. Even if you have neuropathy, even if your feet don't feel great, start doing this practice. And then come on up to your calf muscle, right? The easiest way I find to squeeze your calf muscles is to lift your toes towards you and feel your calf muscles get tight. Tight, 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 tight. And let go. and let them soften. Let them go. Let them go. And wiggle your legs a little bit. Feel those calves just gently going. Could be one of those spots where you start to feel a little bit of a cramp or a Charlie horse. If you need to, pause this video and walk it out. That's okay. Or massage. Do what you need to do. It's a sign often that you might be dehydrated. You may need some more magnesium. Have a banana. Epsom salt baths. My key for so many things in life, right? Then come up to your thighs and squeeze your thigh muscles. Just be aware of squeeze, 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 squeeze. You might notice that your butt squeezes here at the same time. I always say our glutes are greedy. Gluteus maximus minimus. That's another way of saying our butt muscles. And let go. Quadricep muscles, our thigh muscles, our hamstrings, so important for our health. And these muscles, along with our calf muscles, are the muscles that support your knees, right? And so often you might find that your knees hurt when these muscles need a little bit more attention because they're kind of in the middle. And so making sure that you're relaxing these muscles can affect your knee health. And then we're moving on to your butt. Squeeze your butt muscles. Squeeze, 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 squeeze tight as you can. Let them go. Why are your butt muscles important? Your butt muscles can affect your lower back as well as your hips. And so your butt muscles that we are often muscles that we squeeze very easily and don't even realize it if we're not aware of it. So I say that greedy glute muscles, they can pull on your lower back. So if you find that your lower back gets achy or sore, it could be because these muscles need to be stretched out and released and let go a little bit. And then squeeze your abdominal muscles, right? As a personal trainer, when I did that for years, I always used to say, pull your belly button towards your spine. You might say, I don't have any abs, Karen, but we all do. And I've had a hysterectomy and I can still do this. Think of your belly button. Pull your belly button back towards your spine and let go. Ooh. And pull your belly button back towards your spine and let go. Let go. Very often when you're stressed, you're going to find that your abdominal muscles are holding you. That's why we can so often, one of the reasons we can have some gut issues. Just let it go. Let it go. Okay. And moving on up, I'm going to invite you here to take a deep breath in. And by that deep breath, I mean, I would love for it to be a nasal breath when you're thinking about your diaphragm, as we talked earlier in this series, going down that elevator. But as you're doing that, I'm going to invite you to open up your lungs and your rib cage. Okay. Our rib cage very often, and especially if you've been through breast surgeries like mastectomy, double mastectomy, but very often our rib cage almost gets stuck. You might notice this, right? It might not feel fluid. It might not feel loose. You might not feel like you're able to twist or lift your arm. Maybe your chest feels tight. All of these things can be because not just the surgeries that you've been through, but also the trauma that you've been through. And so taking that breath in, feeling the breath push your diaphragm down and open up your rib cage. And then let it go. Whether you exhale through your mouth or your nose, let it go. And repeat. Bring that breath in. Open up your rib cage. Feel it moving, feel it expanding. And push that air out and let it go. And then just breathe normally. And as you're lying there, I invite you to think about letting go. Letting go in your heart. Letting go in your lungs. Letting go through your rib cage. And all of this is important because our heart and our lungs lie beneath our breasts. And according to traditional Chinese medicine, our heart holds on to heartbreak, right? So relationships, emotions, things that were said or weren't said, things that have upset you to the core. And our lungs hold on to grief. And so very often when we're looking at maintaining good breast health, whether you have breasts anymore or not, these are emotions that we want to be aware of. Acknowledging, releasing, making sure we're not storing them in our body anymore. And then moving up to our neck and our shoulders. It's an easy one to tense, right? You might already be feeling a little bit tense. So squeezing your shoulders up towards your ears. Tense, 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 tense. And let go. Go. The shoulders just dropping down and dropping down and dropping down. And do that one more time. Squeezing your shoulders up towards your ears. And let go. And let go. And let go. And let go. Wiggle your shoulders. You're allowed to let go. And just one more area to focus on. And you can repeat these as often as you need to until you feel that that area feels looser. Right? It can be done quickly. It can be done slowly. It can be done frequently. As often as you want. What it helps with is that awareness. Right? And the last one, and it's one that I think we often forget, is our face. Is our face. I noticed the other day, I was looking at something on my phone and I noticed that I was pursing my lips. Right? And I'm like, wow, I wonder how often I do that. I just became aware of it. I've been actually to the dentist. And so my whole mouth had been like, just I was more aware of my mouth and everything. And by the way, this nasal breathing at the dentist is fantastic. Changes the whole dental experience. So our last muscle relaxation is to clench your jaw and squeeze your eyes closed shut. So clenching the jaw now and squeezing your eyes shut. You can wrinkle your nose, you can furrow your brow. And one more time. And let go. Wiggle your jaw. Be aware of relaxing your eyes and your brow. And just sit there or lie there for just a few minutes and notice how you feel in your body right now. Are you feeling calmer? Are you feeling less stressed? Are you feeling less pain? Show gratitude to your body. Thank you for what they carry you through each and every day. Recognizing it's not always easy, but thank you. Okay. Thank you for practicing this muscle relaxation with me today. I invite you, like I said, I like to do this first thing in the morning. It's just a great way to wake up with recognition for how I want to feel, how I go through my day. setting the intention for feeling calm and less stressed in my body. Because the more that you do this, the more you'll be aware of when you're not feeling that way. It's almost like we have to show our body how we want to feel, right? Just like we have to teach our mind the thoughts that we want to think, because our thoughts become our beliefs. And so we get to do all of those things. Those are all things that we get to shift. Okay. And we'll end today with our calming technique. Left hand over your heart, right hand on top, hugging that now relaxed heart. Repeat after me and speak it to your 10-year-old self. You are loved. You are safe. I've got you. I love you. Go on and enjoy a calm, filled day. And know that you can practice these techniques from anywhere, anytime. Nobody will even know. I'll see you in the next episode.